Hey guys, so I'm going to go through this offer from Bwin. It is a 100% up to $200 sports bonus. So very simple the way it works. You deposit $200 into Bwin. They add a $200 bonus to your balance, giving you a total balance of $400. And then you have to wager through 6 times that total balance in order to convert that bonus into cash and be able to withdraw. Okay, so I'll go through each of the steps of this offer, showing you how to do it. We recommend that you have at least $1,600 for this offer. That's just so that you can hedge each of your bets as you kind of move through this wagering requirement. With all these sports bonuses, the whole ideal scenario is that you bust out your bonus as soon as possible. So on the first few bets, if you can bust that out on Bwin and therefore win in your secondary sportsbook, for example Pinnacle, then that means that you'll be finished the offer straight away and you'll be up a lot more than the $128 here, okay? But we'll go through each of those steps just as we move through the offer. So here we go. Bwin are offering 100% up to $200 deposit bonus. We recommend that you have at least $1,600, but if you have lower, of course, you can go in with the lower amount, and you have to wager 6 times the deposit plus bonus at odds greater than minus 143 American, which is 1.7 in decimal. So here is the promotion on the Bwin website, 100% deposit bonus up to $200 on sports. Strictly speaking, it says this expired on 31st of the 12th, 2025, but I was just on live chat and they confirmed that it's still active, so they probably just have to update this. So the offer appears to be good to go. So that's the offer, 100% up to $200. We're going to open an account. We're going to then place our bonus bets, and then we'll actually talk about how much you can make on average from that offer. Okay, so $128 is the kind of worst case scenario, but we'll get onto that in a second. So let's say that you're good to go and you're going to go ahead and click the link through to Bwin and you're going to open an account. So very simple, just go up here to the register button and create an account and deposit $200 for a $200 bonus. As always, just log that in the profit tracker. So deposit amount $200 and a $200 sports bonus, and go ahead and click save there. So let's say that you have deposited, you've got $400 in the account and we're good to go with the bonus bets. Okay, so as I was kind of saying, you know, with these deposit match bonuses, you generally want to bust out as quickly as possible. So the easiest way to do that would be to place the $400 full balance on in one bet, you know, above evens, so above 2.0 decimal. And the whole idea with that is that you would bust out the balance around half the time and you'd be finished the offer straight away. The only problem with that strategy is that they tend to limit your account. So if you place a $400 bet and then maybe another $400 bet, for example, they might limit your stakes right down to, say, less than $50. So what we recommend doing is just keeping your bets flat at $200 until you either bust out or you hit a $2,400 wagering requirement. Okay, so that's what we do. That's what we recommend that you do. And then we'll talk about how that impacts the average profit. Okay, so as always, we've got this link to the Dutch Matcher. It's going to put you into normal mode. So let's click the link to the Dutch Matcher and let's see what pairs of bets are available. So here we go. It's put Bwin as Sportsbook 1. For now, I'm using Pinnacle as Sportsbook 2, but you can choose whichever you like. I've got a great rating here, 98.91%. You can also see it's put in your min odds of 1.7. You can change that to American if you like, if you prefer. So let's go ahead and go for this top one here, the 98.91%. And we're going to be doing a $200 bet on Bwin. So it's on Golden State Warriors plus 3.5 at 1.75. Let's find the game. Warriors plus 3.5 is 1.75. So always just double check the odds before you place the bet. Let's double check that on Pinnacle here. Clippers minus 3.5 is 2.3. So that's correct. So that is a great match. You've got $200 on Bwin, $152.17 on Pinnacle. And from that, you would lose only $2 of your $200. So that's a great rating. You know, usually expect to get ratings over 97%. So 99% is very, very good. So very simple. You would go ahead and place that bet on Bwin. You would hedge it on Pinnacle. And then you would find a second bet to use up your second $200. Okay, so just a reminder, we would usually recommend going a $400 bet in one go to try to bust that out as quickly as possible. However, Bwin tend to limit accounts, so in this case we're going to just recommend $200 flat bets and either bust out or finish the wagering requirement. So you just go to the next best one here. We've got the Bulls plus 13.5. Open the calculator as normal, put that to 200, and let's go and find this bet. Bulls Celtics, Bulls plus 13.5. Bulls plus 13.5 is 1.75, which agrees with what we have here. And Celtics minus 13.5 is 2.3, which agrees with what we have here. So again, this is a very, very high rated bet. It's actually the exact same as the one we had before, 98.91%. So you're only losing $2 here for each $200 bet. Okay. Now, if you lose both of those bets, then that's fantastic. You would be finished the offer straight away and you would be actually up in this case, you know, $200 bonus that you got minus $2 minus another $2, so you'd actually be up $196 in that case, which would be fantastic. But if either of the bets win, then of course you have to grind out that wagering requirement. So that's very simple. That's all you're doing. You're going on the Dutch Matcher in normal mode and you're just placing these bets. Now, obviously it says that the profit is a negative here, but you have to remember that, you know, $200 of this money is bonus money. That's all accounted for in your profit tracker. Whenever you log this to your profit tracker with the sports bonus, that will record it as a profit. And then as you fulfill these bets to grind out the wagering requirement, that will take away from your profit. So your profit will erode as you move through the wagering. All right. So that's all you're doing for the bonus bet stage, doing flat $200 bets until you either bust out and therefore your balance is in Pinnacle or your secondary sportsbook, or else you fulfill the entire wagering requirement, it converts to cash, and then you can withdraw. Now I just want to talk quickly about how much you're going to make on average from this offer. So we've got this worst case scenario, this guaranteed profit of $128, and that's kind of based on, okay, we get a $200 bonus, we have to wager $2,400 in order to withdraw, and assuming that the average rating that you get in the Dutch Matcher is 97%, well then you're going to come away with $128, okay? But that is the worst case scenario. If we want to work out what is the average amount that you're going to make from this offer, well then we need to run a Monte Carlo simulation, because you can imagine that there are a huge number of possibilities. You know, you win your first bet, lose the second bet, win your third bet, win the fourth bet. You know, you can win or lose any of these bets, and we want to basically see how much are you wagering on average, okay? So that is the key statistic, right? Because you're losing 3% of all the bets that you're wagering, so we want to see how much are we wagering on average. And if you run this through a Monte Carlo simulator, you can see that we're actually approximating these bets by a spin on roulette. So these are very similar to a sports bet with a 3% house edge. You know, you're putting $200 down on red or black. It's very similar to putting $200 down on a sports bet at even money. Okay, both have around a 3% house edge. So this is a very good approximation, and it's coming at $160. Okay, so worst case scenario, you wager everything at 97% ratings and you make $128. Best case scenario, you bust out straight away. Like in our example, if we lost both of those bets, then you'd be up around $194, $196. But the average amount that you're going to be up here, based on these simulations, is $160, assuming that you put all of your bets on around even money. Okay, so this is kind of like an approximation. Obviously, not all of your bets are going to be around even money. All right, so the offer is worth on average around 160, worst case scenario 128, best case scenario around 196. And that is the Bwin offer. As always, let us know if you have any problems on the contact page, and best of luck.